Howdy, howdy, how you guys doing out there on this beautiful Saturday? I'm going to be reading a Cowboy short story number 7. It's called The Night We Unleashed Something. The night we unleashed something. It was a typical Saturday night, and we were itching for something to do. David, Kevin, Sean, Nick, and I were at David and Mike's house, hanging out in the dining room. The room had a massive table that could easily seat 6, so we all settled in around it. That's when someone, I can't remember who, had the bright idea to play with the Ouija board. None of us really believed it would work, but we figured it would be a laugh, so we tossed it on the table and got ready. We started with the basics, asking, "Is there any ghost in here?" The slider moved to yes, and we all snickered, thinking one of us was just messing around. But then, as we kept asking it more questions, things started to get weird. The responses felt more deliberate, more intense. The boys decided to up the ante. Let's all hold hands and think the same thing, someone suggested. Let's see if we can make something happen for real. We all agreed, and with our hands locked together, we began to silently chat. "Show yourself, spirit, show yourself." We chanted over and over again in our heads, concentrating as hard as we could. Suddenly, something happened that none of us were prepared for. Right above Kevin, at the head of the table, a face started to emerge from the wall, just above the window, where the wall met the ceiling. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Eerie, otherworldly. I was close to the light, so instinctively I flipped them on, freaking out beyond belief. We all started, oh shit, sorry, time out. We all stared at each other in shock, not knowing if what we saw was real. To test ourselves, we decided to split up. One of us went to the other room and to draw what he saw, while the rest of us stayed behind and did the same. When we brought the pictures together, they were identical. That's when Sean, who was wearing a pair of shorts with a strange shade of green in them, pointed out that the face had the same eerie greenish hue. Nick and I agreed. It was the same shade, the same face. We weren't ready to stop there. We grabbed hands again, chanting, "Show yourself, show yourself." At this time, the face didn't just emerge, it fully materialized behind Kevin. It happened so fast. One moment, it was just a face, and then, right then in the dim light, a whole figure popped out of the wall. I flipped on the lights again. But this time, the guys moved me off the light duty. We were all freaking out by now, but we couldn't stop. We were too deep into it. We decided to offer something to the spirit, something personal. I took my silver Indian arrowhead necklace and placed it in the middle of the table. We locked hands again, closed our eyes, and chanted in our minds, "Show yourself, show yourself." Then, like clockwork, the figure emerged again, moving to the left of Kevin, crouching down at the end of the table and resting his head on his hands and elbows. Just staring at us. Mike was on the lights this time, and he flicked it on as fast as he could. The figure vanished, but the memory of it burned in our minds. None of us wanted to sit where the figure kept appearing, but we were drawn to it, like moths to a flame. For the last time we chanted, "Show yourself, show yourself." Suddenly it appeared again, but this time it came right up to the table. I had my eyes shut tight, but when I opened them, I saw flying around the table, circling us like a predator. I locked eyes with it, and I swear I almost pooped myself. It was terrifying. That night, we were too scared to sleep. We huddled together, staring down into the drop-down living room, which had these big pane windows. And there, standing in the living room, was a silhouette of a man. None of us could believe what we were seeing. Morning came, and the silver arrowhead necklace was gone. We searched everywhere, but never found it again. 10 years later, I was living down south, and one night I was telling my little brother Ryan and sister Sheila about the ghost we saw up north. They didn't believe me, so I picked up the phone and called Dave and Mike. Then I put them on speakerphone, and they told the exact same story, right down to the last detail. Sheila turned ghostly white as they spoke, and I could see the fear in her eyes. I ended this story with a warning. If you mess around with the Ouija board, you'll never know what might happen. You might open a gateway to the spirit world or nothing at all. But if something does happen, you'll never forget it. And Cowboys, short story number 7. How'd you guys like it, man? Like and subscribe, and we're all good.